Everyone. This is the Zoning Board of Adjustment for Bridgewater Township. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. This is a regular meeting of this body. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, I have to read the open public meeting announcement. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6. Specifically on January 28, 2026, proper notice was sent to the electronic news sources of record, filed with the municipal clerk at the Township of Bridgewater, and posted on the municipal bulletin board. Please be aware of the Zoning Board of Adjustment policy for public hearings. No new applications will be heard after 9:30 p.m., and no new testimony will be taken after 10 p.m. Hearing assistance is available on request. Please join me, if you are able, by standing and saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What I'd like to do now is open the meeting to the public for anyone who would like to address this. Oh, I'm sorry, I went ahead of the roll call. So, Ms. Probst, would you like to do a roll call, please?
Chairman Kulak,
Here.
Mr. Wadali,
Here.
Mrs. Amin,
I'm here.
Mr. Franco, Mr. Fresco,
Here.
Ms. Rose, Mr. Gajewski,
Here.
Ms. Wiseman, here. Mr. Vesio,
Here.
Mr. Colucci,
Here.
and Mr. Mignella.
Here.
Richard Aller, Board Attorney.
Here.
Bill Burr, Board Engineer.
Here.
Catherine Sarmad, Board. Here. You have a quorum, you can proceed.
Very well, thank you very much. I'd like to open the meeting to the public who would like to address this board on any matter that's not on the agenda and may do so at this time. Seeing no members of the public, I'd like to close that section of the meeting. Do we have minutes that we need to approve, or we're not ready for any at this time?
We don't have any at this time.
Okay. We do have two resolutions, however, for approval. Application number 25-016 ZB, Garden Oaks Specialties Company Incorporated, Block 821, Lot 16, otherwise known as 1921 Route 22 West. Preliminary and final major site plan, D variances, C variances. Mr. Oler, any comment on this resolution before I ask the board for comments?
Ms. Amin did point out that there's two spots where there's like a double word to edit out, so a couple of minor things. I'll send that to Nancy in the morning.
Very well. And with that, any comments from the board?
Motion to approve.
Mrs. Amin is making a motion to approve.
Second with Mr. Aller's changes.
Mr. Wiley is seconded with Mr. Oler's changes. With that, may we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Kulak,
Yes.
Mr. Wadley,
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amin,
Mrs. Amin?
Yes.
Mr. Gajewski,
Yes.
and Ms. Wiseman. Yes. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we have a resolution for application number 25-020 ZB. This was originally listed as pending, but we do have that resolution. It's for CX Tower Leasing, Block 163, Lot 6:01, 719 Route 202. Preliminary and final site plan with use and bulk variances. Mr. Oler, any comments or guidance necessary here?
Well, my special editor, Ms. Amin, picked up on the word entitle. That should be entitled. So just that one modification, I'll send that to Nancy.
Okay, very well. So
Motion that we move it.
Mr. Wiley is making a motion that we move it, and Mrs. Amin is going to second that motion. And may we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Kulak,
Yes.
Mr. Wadley,
Yes.
Mr. Fresco,
Here. Yes.
Mrs. Amin,
yes,
Mr. Gieske,
Yes.
and Ms. Wiseman.
Thank you very much. Moving forward, we have 3 applications on the docket for today. And I'd like to try to establish a tone of moving forward carefully and deliberately, but at the same time with some degree of alacrity. And if we do all that, then we can get through these. But I don't want to shortchange anyone. I want to make sure that everybody gets their just hearing and we have all of the information we need to make informed decisions. So I'm just trying to set the tone for the pace I'd like to keep if we can at least try to do that. We are going to start with application number 25-011ZB. Mr. Jeffrey Hinkle, block 254, lot 18, otherwise known as 66 Findern Avenue. This is a bifurcated use variance, and appearing on behalf of Mr. Hinkle is...
Good evening. For the record, I'm Donna Jennings from the law firm of Wilentz, Goldman & Spitzer on behalf of the applicant.
Very well. Welcome, Ms. Jennings. Welcome, Mr. Hinkle. Ms. Jennings, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. As the board will remember, after the last hearing in March, in consideration of the board's comments, the applicant revised the plans to eliminate the spa use on the second floor and instead is seeking use variance approval to permit 2 two-bedroom apartments in the existing building located at 66 Findern Avenue and identified as block 254, lot 18. As before, the applicant is seeking bifurcated approval in return for site plan should the board grant the use variance. The applicant still requires a D1 use variance because the C1 zone does not permit multifamily residential. The applicant will rely on the testimony of 2 witnesses in support of the application, our fact witness, Jeffrey Hinkle, sitting to my left, the applicant, and Andrew Janu, our professional planner. As a matter of record keeping, I'd like to acknowledge that the applicant is in receipt of the following reports. We have a board engineer planner letter dated August 20th, 2026, zoning department, August 4th, 2026, fire safety, August 11th, 2026, traffic safety and police, August 5th, 2026, sewer utility, August 10th, 2026, code official, August 11th, 2026, and tax collector, August 20th, 2026. With that, I'd like to have Mr. Hinkle sworn in, and we can begin his testimony.
Very well. Mr. Hinkle
Would you
and Mr.
stand-
Oler?
Yep. Would you stand, raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your name for the record, please? Thank you. You can sit down. Thank you.
And just also for the record, I just want to make sure that the board did receive my notice and that the board has jurisdiction to proceed.
Did receive your notice, reviewed it, it's in proper form, was published timely and served properly, so the board has jurisdiction.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hinkle, just confirm again that you are the applicant and the owner of the subject property?
Correct.
And if you could, in your own words, explain your new proposal after the March hearing, what we looked at and your thoughts there.
So essentially, no change from the downstairs from what we discussed.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I want to make sure you're speaking into a microphone.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm just going to make this general comment first, that this session is being broadcast on YouTube. It's also being recorded. And for those of us who watch these meetings at home, if you're not speaking into a microphone, we hear 0 sound coming out. So everyone takes note. I'll let you continue. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. So we're not proposing any changes to the application as it was presented previously for the downstairs, but for the upstairs unit, eliminating the commercial use and converting that into a 2-bedroom apartment as well. So it would be a multi-use residential.
And I believe we submitted some floor layouts for both units with our application.
Correct.
Okay, I don't know if the board members have those with them or if you need me to hand out additional floor layouts.
Essentially, there's no change from the previous other than the labeling of the offices as bedrooms, two of the offices as bedrooms and the third office as an eat-in kitchen.
Okay, very well. Everybody have what they need in front of them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, and then if you could just, I know there were some questions that came up in the review letters. So if you could explain the methods of ingress and egress from site and overall fire safety?
Yes, so again, no changes from what has been approved in the past and will continue. We're not making any changes to the floor plan, have had fire safety inspections performed every year, including extinguishers, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, have lighted commercial emergency exit signs. I don't plan to take those away. We have the egress points for both floors. Should I, okay. So not including the windows, we have three main points of egress, namely the front door, the back door, and the side door. These doors can be unlocked from the inside. They have glass panels as well, so there's no issues there. The windows can also be used from the sides for emergency egress. The upstairs has a window that goes onto a balcony as well. In a real emergency, it could be used. The second floor main egress are the steps to the front door. The attic would be through the stairwell to the steps, and the basement would be through the stairwell to the side door.
Okay, and if you could just briefly touch on the parking and circulation.
So there was, the parking is adequate for both the commercial use and the residential use. We got a notation that it was compliant, but there was a suggestion, since 7 spaces was too many for 2 apartments, to either convert some of that space into a, like bicycle parking or a shed or a basketball hoop, and we're amenable to doing that.
Very well.
Okay, and you anticipate the deliveries now just being basic residential, UPS, Amazon, UPS-style trucks?
Essentially, no change other than Amazon deliveries, and they park next door anyway.
And can you confirm that there are no issues with the existing driveway width that was raised in one of the reports?
Correct. Yes, thank you. There was something noted that the driveway is only 14 and a half feet wide, but actually there are pavers next to the driveway, between the driveway and the building. So the narrowest portion of the driveway is at the steps to the side door, which is just a little bit over 17 foot, and 2 cars can pass easily, actually, in the driveway, pass each other.
And that's an existing site condition, and
We're not changing anything.
and if I recall correctly from your last testimony, you actually worked in that building, so you're
I do.
very familiar.
Yes, I do. Mhm.
Okay. And how is the trash recycling pickup handled?
That's a private hauler for the trash, and recycling was just taken down the street to the recycling center.
And then there was a comment from the sewer utility. Can you just address the comments there?
So in 2025, we had a clog, and the clog was cleared, and the line was scoped out to the street, and there was no issues out to the street, and the sewer department didn't need to do anything from the street either.
And you've had no issues since?
No issues since.
It's all the direct testimony I have for this witness.
I'm just going to ask to pause for just a moment. I'm going to ask the board members if they have any questions of Mr. Hinkle based on his testimony so far. Mr. Widley?
I'm looking at the diagram dated May 26th. I guess that's the latest one. And you're showing the basement as an existing office family room. Is that then going to stay or be part of the lower rental?
It was a finished office space. It would become a family room.
Or the lower,
For
the only one that can
downstairs
access it
unit.
is the ones on the first
Correct.
floor?
And as we testified at the last meeting, I would say that it was advised that we make that, seal that door from the furnace in the storage area, and we will do that.
So that'll be totally separate? Okay,
Correct.
So the first floor rental would then have that plus the family room downstairs?
Correct.
Okay. And then also, going back to our first meeting, was, I had some concerns. Can you go over, you have the first floor unit rental and the second floor residential. Can you go over how each one can access their apartments?
So the second floor can be accessed from the front door.
I think if I can interrupt, if everybody looked at the second page of the floor plans that we handed out, it'll show you the porch and the foyer, so as Jeff is describing it, you can visualize what he's saying.
Right, from the front, from the porch would go up the stairs to the second floor. The first floor would actually have all three means of egress and access, front, back, and side door.
So you would go in the first, to get to the second one, you'd go into, or the porch, up the steps to the second then?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from any members of our board? Mr. McNella?
Sir, did you consider taking out those extra spaces, parking spaces, and putting in some sort of grass or some sort of yard? Because otherwise, there's no outside common sort of area there.
Yes, that's what we would be amenable to, whatever would be desired from either the perspective of putting in, bicycle stops, leaving it as pavement, but making it a basketball court like I have it in my house.
And we're also entertaining this as a bifurcated application, so we'll be getting more details should the board approve this
Correct.
use. And then we'll be getting more detail, and I'm sure the applicant will be willing to work with our professionals to fine-tune those plans as they're developed. Is that a fair statement?
That is, yes.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the board?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Calucci?
Hi. The code official wrote that the attic space can only be 1/3 of the floor space below at a 7-foot ceiling height. There's no dimensions on these drawings you gave me. Does it comply to that?
Well, you would have to meet the building code, so we'll clarify that if we were to get use variance here.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask our board professionals if they would like to ask any comments of Mr. Hinkle specific to his testimony. Ms. Armad?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a couple of questions. And thank you, Mr. Hinkle, for the updated testimony. One of the questions raised in the review memo was, are there any interior improvements that are going to be required to, facilitate the request, right? Are there any changes internally to the floor plans that they're shown on these floor plans, but there's not really a good identification of what exists and what's proposed, right? So if there's no closet areas that are currently not there and are added, can you just go through those?
Yeah, the two closets were the only thing that's been added on the drawing. In the bathroom, we would be proposing to add a shower.
And you're talking about the first floor.
On the first floor, excuse me, yes.
And then and nothing on the upper floors is required to be modified?
Correct, other than I would most likely want to put a sink in the eat-in kitchen, and that backs up to the bathroom.
Okay, that's where it says existing closet, proposed sink.
Perfect, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then in the photos that were previously shared of the internal and external part of the building, the first floor bathroom currently has looks like a washer or washer dryer in the bathroom.
That's gone.
That's gone. So are there going to be any laundry facilities available in the building?
A laundry hookup, but not laundry facilities provided.
Where would the laundry hookups be?
In the basement.
In the basement, okay. That would be able to be accessed by both, or just the first floor unit?
That would only be accessed by the first floor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Burr, any comment?
Actually, I apologize. There is a possibility that the basement could be keyed and locked such that both tenants could access the basement, but not the first floor space. So there is a separate door at the top of the stairwell coming up to the kitchen with a lock.
So there is in the storage HVAC area, is that where it would be?
No. Well, oh, yes, that's where the washer dryer would
It
be.
would be in there. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Burr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one question, Mr. Hinkle. So the basement floor plan where it says existing office, proposed family room, that's for use only for the first floor unit, correct?
Correct, unless unless, per my answer to that other question, we would make that shared space. I don't know how you would do that, though.
And you wouldn't contemplate turning that into a separate unit at some point in the future? That will remain only accessory or attached to that first floor?
Correct. It couldn't be a separate unit.
And the same holds for the second floor unit, where I think the floor plan shows a proposed bonus room on the attic.
Yeah, there's not space, really. I mean,
Understanding you have to get building
full-size
permits.
person can't stand up and.
Okay. So those couldn't be separated in the future as their own apartments. It's going to stay two
Correct.
apartment units. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Burr. Ms. Jennings?
Yeah, so this time I just call up our planner to put on the proofs necessary for the granting of the D variance.
Very well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hinkle.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're going to ask you to tell us who you are, and Mr. Oler is going to make you recite a few things.
First, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your name for the record, please?
Andrew Janiw, Janiw. I'm a principal with the firm of Beacon Planning and Consulting Services, 315 Highway 34 in Colts Neck, New Jersey.
And Mr. Janu, you also were at the last hearing, correct?
That's correct.
And you were previously qualified as a professional planner, correct?
I was.
Okay, if you could, we've obviously made some modifications to the
We
application.
just confirm that your license is still in good standing.
Still in good standing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you just go through, I know you went through at length the last time, the proofs necessary for a D variance for the mixed-use unit we were going to do, but now that we've converted to two residentials, can you touch on the positive and the negative criteria for the granting of this particular variance?
Certainly. The circumstances from a planning standpoint are very similar. A lot of the previous testimony hinged on the neighborhood character and the like, and I believe there was a exhibit that was distributed at the time. It was an aerial photograph with photographs behind that. And I have additional copies in case the board doesn't have that.
That was Exhibit A2, marked in March 10th, 2026.
And what you notice from that exhibit is the retail commercial uses are basically fronting along Main Street, and as you turn down Findern, what you have is a variety of residential uses. You have a large-scale multifamily complex, you have a single-family home, you have a multi-use structure with a barber shop on the first floor and an apartment above. You have a two-family home almost directly across from the subject property, then another single-family home. So the neighborhood is characterized by a mix of residential and commercial uses in a variety of configurations, and it's very consistent with what's being proposed this evening. I went through the proofs with the master plan and the municipal land use law requirements. Those would remain the same as applied to this application. With respect to the D1 variance, this is a straight use variance. We would have to satisfy this under the Medici criteria, meaning that there are three categories under which we can resolve this. One would be that it's inherently beneficial. We wouldn't comply with that. One would be where there's an undue hardship. Again, we're not seeking that. The third would be where the use serves a general welfare because of the proposed site. The proposed site is particularly suited for the proposed use, and that is the case in this matter. The property was at one time a single-family home, and I believe the records showed that it was functioned as a single-family home until 2002. It was converted to commercial use in 2002, and now we are seeking to take what was two separate commercial uses and convert those to two-bedroom apartments. The first floor with the auxiliary space in the basement, and then a second floor apartment with auxiliary space in the attic area. This maintains the character of the neighborhood. It's consistent with the buildings in proximity, particularly those directly across the street from the property. And it's efficient use and utilization of the property. The home appears from the exterior as a residential structure. It has sufficient parking on site to handle the proposed use. As a matter of fact, more than enough parking. And in fact, the use that's being proposed with the two apartments is significantly less intense in terms of noise, traffic, and trash than would be some of the permitted uses in the C1 zone. Furthermore, this being in the C1 zone, it has a much larger lot requirement. This is an undersized lot. It's appropriate for the use that's being proposed. So essentially on the proof side, this is particularly suited because of the character of the lot, the character of the home, and the ability to accommodate the use. So it is my opinion that the application meets the criteria under Medici. With respect to the Medici reconciliation, I point to you that the district does allow single-family homes, and the neighborhood contains multifamily uses as well as mixed-use structures directly adjacent to this property. We're consistent with the intent of the master plan, which recognizes that this is a area that was somewhat put together with mixed uses already in existence to the area. So when we look at this in terms of the positive and negative criteria, I do believe it meets the Medici criteria on the positive side. With respect to the negative criteria, I believe it's consistent with what the zone plan anticipates in terms of intensity of utilization. And furthermore, it's not of a particular nuisance to any of the neighborhoods because it'll be functioning very much like the neighbors do. So when we look at that under the Medici balance, I do believe this qualifies for D1 variance relief.
Very well, thank you. Any members of the board have any questions for Mr. Janu?
I have one. I was looking through my notes and I can't find it. You said that it was converted to a commercial in 2002. When was the property built, the house or the building?
I believe
I was looking through my notes from
1934, correct.
34? Okay, so it's 92 years old. 2006?
Renovated.
Seeing no additional questions?
I do have some.
Oh, wait, I have a question coming out from Mr. Vesio.
If this board were to vote to approve this application, you're right now proposing a two-family home in the zone. Could the applicant sort of decide to change one of those units back to a commercial property in the future without coming in front of this board?
No, they'd have to come back to this board because that would be another variance. It's changing the use, so you're only approving it for 2 apartments. If we were to change that, we'd have to come back here.
Okay, so even if one of those units were to be a conforming use, they would still have to come back here because it would be a mixed use.
The structure itself would not be conforming.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
But even if it was a home business, could the people renting the apartments run a home business from there?
If it's permitted by ordinance to have a home business in that, I don't know what Catherine, do you know what the home occupation zone ordinance is? Is it applied universally?
I believe it is applied universally, so I'd have to look at it to see. They're supposed to register the business, right, and seek a zoning permit for it, so if that were to come up, I don't know off the top of my head the intricacies of that. I don't think they would be able to, just off the top of my head, but I can't give an exact, it depends on the type of business, I suppose.
Right.
There are limitations. We have a lot of specifics required for home businesses.
And they'd have to comply with that ordinance, otherwise come back here.
Could somebody run a medical spa out of their home office?
No,
No?
no, they would not.
Okay.
Couldn't we put that specifically in any resolution to prohibit that?
I think we have some very specific rules around those uses that have been recently adopted and some that are maybe under consideration, so
All right.
appreciate the question. Catherine, I'm going to ask you, though, from a planning perspective, if you have any questions for Mr. Janu based on his testimony.
I have no questions. I agree with his testimony. I think I raised a number of questions about the use that was on the second floor. I think that everything that he has stated is, I agree with his opinions, with professional opinions, and I think that the mixed use that was previously proposed included a use on the second floor, whereas many of the neighboring properties that do have mixed use more traditionally have the business on the first floor where it's accessible, to
Right.
and the residential unit above. And so I think what's proposed now is a better alternative to that, to have a fully residential structure.
Great, thank you. Mr. Burr, I don't want to leave you out in case you had any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I do not.
Okay, very well. Ms. Jennings, Mr. Oler, where are we?
You have any other witnesses?
No, that's our witnesses, I assume, which just has to be opened up to the public.
Okay, very well. Are there any questions first from the public about Mr. Janu's testimony today? And seeing none, then,
Any summation?
Yeah, so just very quickly, I think that when we were here in March, we did hear the concerns expressed by the board. We went back, we looked at it carefully, we made modifications, and we would respectfully hope that the board would grant an approval for the use variance, and of course, then we'll come back for site plan approval for more details.
very well, thank you. So let's take a moment to see exactly, Mr. Oler, where we are. We would be looking under a bifurcated application to approve only the use variance as it's been described.
Correct. This would only be for to permit the use as a two-family home in the zone where it's otherwise not permitted. There, we talked about a few conditions initially, which really would no longer apply to the changed application, but similar in that this evening they discussed that the basement family room would not be used as a bedroom, the attic space would not be used as a bedroom. You'll remove additional parking spaces and install either some shed storage or recreational use or bike storage, you know, when you come back on site plan. That's really all I had.
Let's begin deliberation. I can tell you that from my perspective, when we had originally heard the case, we had some concerns. I think the applicant has heard those concerns, made the appropriate changes that still allows them to get value out of the property by converting it into a residential use, a two-family rental unit, more than likely. And I would support the application. Mr. Wiley, would you like to go next?
I agree with you. I have no problem with the change of the application. I'm for it.
Mr. Gajewski, why don't we just go down the line?
Yeah, I would agree. Doing residential here, I think makes sense.
Ms. Wiseman?
Very smart modification. I would approve.
Okay, Mr. McNella?
I appreciate that they heard our concerns and have acted accordingly.
Mrs. Amin? Would you like to comment, or?
I don't have any comment.
Okay. Mr. Fresco?
Yeah, I think it's fine. You know, I'm reading my notes, and I think in the end of the last hearing, I think I was like kind of convinced, you know, that Mr. Hinkle was a good guy, and he trusted his tenants, and I was ready to approve it then. So I support it even more now. So good luck.
Thank you. Mr. Vesio?
I support this application. It was a home that was initially constructed as a home, will be a home, two-family unit, within a commercial area. It kind of makes sense for a more dense type of residential.
And Mr. Colucci?
I support the application.
Very well. I'd like to have Rich tell us, we need to have a motion to approve the use variance only. Are there any conditions?
The conditions that I mentioned
Right.
before that would be, you know, applicable when they come back with a site plan, just to give some direction towards that. But the basement family room would not be used as a bedroom in that plan. The attic space would not be used as a bedroom in that plan. And the additional parking spaces would be removed and replaced with either some sort of recreational use or shed storage or bike storage.
Very well. I'd like to have a motion, please, to approve the application. Mr. Wiley makes the motion. Can I have a second?
A second.
I'm sorry, is that Mr. Fresco? Mr. Fresco is the second. Ms. Probst, can we have a roll call?
Chairman Kulak,
Yes.
Mr. Widley,
Yes.
Mrs. Amin,
Yes,
Mr. Fresco,
Yes.
Mr. Gajewski,
Yes.
Ms. Wiseman,
Yes.
Mr. Vesio.
Yes.
Very well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Jennings.
Great,
Thank you,
thank you
Mr.
so much.
Hinkle. And
Appreciate
we'll
it.
look forward to seeing you when you come back with your plans.
Thank you.
So we're going to push forward, and I understand that Ms. Jennings has an associate with her today who's going to be presenting our next case. We're going to be hearing application number 26-012ZB, Solar Landscape Promenade. And as some preliminary comments, I would just mention that Solar Landscape has been before this zoning board previously on at least one or two occasions of which I'm aware. At the same time, every property is unique, every application is unique, and as such, we're going to require that we have the full testimony with respect to the application. But as I understand it, this is a pretty straightforward, let's put some solar on the roof type of application. So we'll see if that's true or not as we move forward. So with that, why don't the council introduce yourself, please, to us?
Yeah, for the record, my name is Josh Grun from the law firm of Lentz, Goldman, and Spitzer.
Please spell your last name for us.
Grun, as in Nancy.
Yes. Grun?
Grun. Last letter is N, as in Nancy.
As in Nancy. And your first name?
Joshua.
Joshua. Mr. Grun, thank you very much. And you're with Lentz, Goldman, and Spitzer, and you're associate of Ms. Jennings. And you have somebody standing with you right now, but before we get to him, do you have any opening remarks, and you can introduce us to who your witnesses will be?
Yes. So, like I had mentioned, I'm representing the applicant, Solar Landscape LLC. The applicant is seeking preliminary and final major site plan approval with a use variance and related bulk variances to install rooftop community solar panels with associated wall-mounted equipment on property located at 100 to 145 Promenade Boulevard and identified as Block 349, Lot 5 on the township's tax maps. The property is approximately 17.689 acres and is located in the Planned Retail, Commercial, and Public Development, or PRCPD zone. Sorry, just one moment. I don't know if we have the court reporter.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
You're heading out? Okay. I believe we did here.
We requesting some transcription services. Why don't you just tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so I believe that we had requested a transcription service for this application, but it appears we haven't. Okay. So with that, then I guess we'll be requesting transcripts for this this hearing.
Does that pose us any issues, Mr. Oler?
Well, not as long as they provide the transcript. You know, the board does have its rule that for this type of application, a D1 variance application, we have a transcript requirement.
All right. Would I be able to just confer really quickly with?
Please go ahead.
Outside?
Well, the good news for you is that it is on YouTube and someone can, you know, transcribe it off of that. Yeah.
All the more important for us to be using our microphones correctly so that all the words get captured in the transcript.
Yeah, we'll order those as soon as possible so we get them to the board. All right, so I just wanted to reiterate the last line that I'd said just to
Please.
get back on track. So the property is located at 100 to 145 Promenade Boulevard, identified as Block 349, Lot 5 on the township's tax maps. The property is approximately 17.689 acres and is located in the Planned Retail, Commercial, and Public Development, or PRCPD zone. By way of background, the applicant is the premier commercial rooftop solar developer in the country. As a leader in commercial real estate clean energy development, the applicant has invested heavily into its building capabilities to support the next phase of its growth. This past year, the applicant has secured close to $847 million in project investment and financing, enabling it to continue its growth and create more than 200 commercial rooftop solar projects to power over 50,000 households. In fact, this is the fourth solar application that the applicant has filed with this township alone, with this board having approved the previous 3 applications. In this application, the applicant is proposing to install solar panels in connection with the Community Solar Energy Program. The state first launched this program as a pilot program in 2018, and in 2023, the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities voted to officially establish a permanent program. Individuals and businesses are now able to greatly benefit from solar energy systems without needing to install solar panels on their own property. Instead, solar energy is generated off-site for use by members of the program. Members receive several benefits, including paying a reduced energy bill by utilizing clean and renewable energy resources. Significantly, these community solar projects are required to serve a majority of low and moderate income customers. The applicant has been actively involved with the community solar program for several years and continues to install solar energy systems in municipalities across the state. Here, the applicant is requesting a D1 use variance because solar panels are not permitted as a principal use in the PRCPD zone, and the applicant is not permitted to sell the energy generated from the solar panels to consumers off-site. As will be more thoroughly discussed by the applicant's professional planner, the record will show that the applicant satisfies the positive and negative criteria for this board to grant the D1 use variance. The positive criteria is satisfied here as a matter of law because the municipal land use law specifically recognizes solar energy facilities as an inherently beneficial use. The record will further show that the applicant satisfies the Sika balancing test as recently modified by the New Jersey Supreme Court's decision in Monarch Communities LLC versus the Township of Montville, 264 NJ 452, because the application serves a strong public interest, any detrimental effects are minimal, and the positive criteria greatly outweighs the negative criteria, as the panels will not pose any negative impact to the public good, and there is no substantial detriment to the purposes of the town's zone plan or zoning ordinance. The proposed panels and equipment will not have any impact on surrounding land uses and will not differ aesthetically from the roof-mounted solar panels permitted as an accessory use in all zoning districts in the township under Ordinance Section 126-335B1. In fact, many of the lots directly adjacent to the property have buildings that are currently improved with roof-mounted solar panels, including the Costco, Target, and Home Depot buildings. Further, the applicant is seeking 2 bulk variances from Ordinance Section 126-321F4B and Ordinance Section 126 Attachment 1 with respect to minimum accessory structure front yard setback and maximum impervious coverage. There are also 4 existing conditions that do not conform with Ordinance Section 126 Attachment 1 with respect to A, minimum lot area, B, minimum front yard setback, C, minimum side yard setback, and D, minimum combined side yard setback, but the applicant is not seeking any bulk variances for these existing conditions because it is not altering the site beyond installing the solar panels and associated equipment. In support of the application, the applicant will rely on testimony from 3 witnesses. First, sitting to my left is Austin Corso, the applicant's representative, who will serve as a fact witness. And then our 2 expert witnesses will be Ryan Holosi, who is the applicant's engineer, and Andrew Janu, the applicant's professional planner. And as a matter of record keeping, the applicant is in receipt of numerous reports from the board secretary, and numerous reports as follows. The board planners and engineers joint review letter dated 8/20/26, the Bureau of Fire Safety review letter dated 7/28/26, the health specialist review letter dated 7/27/26, traffic safety and police review letter dated 7/21/26, director of municipal services and sewer utility review letter dated 7/21/26, zoning department's review letter dated 7/22/26, code enforcement review letter dated 7/16/26, and the Somerset County review letter, or the Somerset County Planning Board review letter dated 8/21/26. And we'll try and address any comments from those letters, in particular, the letter from the board planner and engineer, with our direct testimony. With that, I would call my first witness.
Very well. This is Mr. Corso, am I correct? Why don't you stand up, please, and introduce yourself, and let us have the correct spelling of your first and last name.
Sure. It is Austin Corso, last name spelled C-O-R-S-O.
Very well.
Mr. Corso, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And by way of introduction, you're here representing Solar Landscape.
That is correct.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for them and what your background is?
Sure. Like I said, Austin Corso. I'm the director of pre-construction at Solar Landscape. Solar Landscape is the leading commercial and community solar developer in the United States. We develop, install, and operate all of these solar projects. We have installed hundreds across the state that have resulted in more than 400 megawatts of renewable energy for residents in many communities. We originally formed in 2012 and have been on the forefront of the community solar program in New Jersey since 2019. We are headquartered in Asbury Park, New Jersey, with approximately 400 employees.
Very well, thank you.
Also, just briefly, as a matter of housekeeping, with the board attorney here in receipt of our legal notice.
I did. I reviewed your notice, and again, it was in proper form. It was served timely and published timely on online network, so we have jurisdiction.
Thank you. So, Mr. Corso, you described your role. When exactly was Solar Landscape formed?
2012,
And where is Solar Landscape predominantly located?
Asbury Park, New Jersey.
And approximately how many employees does Solar Landscape employ?
400.
So with respect to this site, why in particular did Solar Landscape choose the site?
We perform a multitude of due diligence to determine and evaluate buildings for community solar, including utility grid availability and capacity, roof inspections and structural integrity of the building, as well as underground utility scans and interest from the community, and in fact the building owner as well.
And from the building owner, you have a lease agreement?
Yes.
Can you just describe that briefly?
We have a lease agreement of 15 years with the owner of the entire Promenade Boulevard, or Bridgewater Promenade as they call it,
Yes.
is Kimco Realty.
I'm sorry, say the name of the company?
It's Kimco Realty.
Okay, thank you.
And can you confirm whether Solar Landscape has the equipment and panels and is ready to proceed?
We do. We have everything.
So as part of the community solar program, can you just describe the approvals you received in particular from the Board of Public Utilities?
Certainly. So this project was awarded through the 2024 Community Solar Energy Program that's run by the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. The BPU does require an application to be made for review and acceptance into the program. At a minimum, we were required to provide an initial site design. We needed conditional approval of the project by the utility, PSE&G, and submission of our non-ministerial permits.
Okay, now moving to the community solar program itself, what are some of the benefits of that program?
Community solar offers free solar energy and the benefits of having solar on your roof without actually having to install it. Any members of the community are more than welcome to apply at no cost to them. And they get discounted energy bill, or discounted electric off of their existing utility bill.
And how does Solar Landscape market this program?
We do a multitude of different things. We like working with towns to send out newsletters, host information centers like town libraries. We've reached out to the mayor of Bridgewater a couple times as well to get some things going, in addition to the normal in the newspaper, online advertisements.
And how does Solar Landscape ensure a majority of affordable households receive the benefit?
So it's a state requirement that 51% must go to low and moderate income households. When an interested party applies, this is covered in the application process. This 51% cannot be diverted to non-low to moderate income households.
And can you just explain how the customers actually receive the benefits and the service?
Yes, so as of the beginning of this year, Community Solar has moved over into consolidated billing, which is fantastic. So if you have your utility bill, you will just see a section on your existing utility bill that shows the credits that you have received and the discount that you have received on that individual monthly bill.
And that's as it pertains to residential customers, as you were describing?
Correct.
And with respect to commercial customers, such as the one in question, is the program substantially the same or different?
It's typically for residents, but it should not be different from one to the other.
Okay, thank you.
So for this particular project, what's the projected discount rate?
The discount rate is 33%.
Okay, so moving to maintenance and security related to the solar panels, how does Solar Landscape clean the solar panels?
We don't clean them ourselves. We allow rainwater to do it. Solar energy will be produced whether there's a little bit of dust on it.
And that the same kind of goes with snow removal?
Yep, we let snow just melt naturally.
How does Solar Landscape realize panels are cracked or not functioning?
So we have a monitoring system that connects to our computers. They can detect damage, dust, or if something's not operating properly.
So Solar Landscape doesn't use cameras for that, it's just sensors?
No.
And how does maintenance get up on the roof?
So we have an operation and maintenance crew, as I mentioned before. They do biannual inspections, and for a project like this, we would use a scissor lift for maintenance to get up there.
And can you just address the construction timeline and if there's any prior to staging, if the board were to grant an approval?
Sure. We actually provided an emergency action plan, which is typically required per your compliance, which has staging plan on it as well. Everything's going to be in the back of the buildings to not disrupt any existing operations. As you can tell, there's a lot of folks that utilize the retail center. And currently, we are projecting to have installation start next year once we get through. Obviously, if we get deemed complete.
All right, and then can you just also address the panel lifespan and the decommissioning process?
Our panel lifespan is 25 years. Our decommissioning on this project specifically is 3 months after our lease is up with the owner. We have to decommission the site back to existing conditions.
All right, and then you've had a chance to review the board review letters.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe was one question with this application regarding tree removal and trenching.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with the site, and do you believe there would be any need for that? Any need for tree removal? Or
No, specifically for tree removal, we do not anticipate having to remove any trees. I actually walked the site before we had this meeting tonight. There should be no trees in the way of our existing or our proposed installations.
all right, those are all the direct questions I have for this witness.
I've got one question, pretty.
Mr. Fresco, please.
Why not all of the roof? What happened? Why these other guys, they didn't buy in? What's the story with that?
So we have a lease agreement with the owner of the entire property.
Right.
They have a separate agreement with their tenants, which does allow them the right to say yes or no on what goes on top of their roofs. So while we don't have any direct lease with them, their separate lease agreements with Kimco do establish that they can say yes or no.
And this is still financially viable? I mean, I didn't do the math. I'm sure you have the math. I don't need it, but it seems like it's a lot. Could it be half? Probably a little less than half?
Yeah, obviously we'd like it to be a little bit more, but yeah, it's still a very, very positive project for us. There's plenty of people in the Bridgewater and surrounding areas that can get usage out of this. We'd have over 113 homes with just this that could benefit from this, so
Right.
It's still very worth our time to do.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question. All these panels that are on the roof, they are going into one meter, and that gets metered into public service, or how does it work?
Yeah, effectively. So we're going to install all of the solar up onto the rooftop. We're going to bring it down to a transformer, and then it goes to a public service utility pole where they meter exactly how much is getting in, and it all gets exported to the grid. Once they receive it, then they utilize that to give, for those applicants who have applied for this, discounted electric bill, or discounts off of their electric bill.
So none of the power, solar power goes into the building for using?
That is correct.
Okay.
And we're going to have our professional engineer come up and testify as to the equipment on site and how that's going to operate.
So, I have another question for you.
Sure.
See, you have all these solar panels on one building, another building, another building. Did you have to rent their roof from those owners of the building, or?
Yeah, so the entire building is owned by one company. So we have a lease agreement with them specifically.
Okay. That's good.
Please continue.
All the direct questions I have been asked.
So let's take a moment. Are there any additional questions for Mr. Corso from any members of the board?
Yes, I have one. You mentioned for maintenance, you would use a scissor lift to get on top of the roof. You're not proposing any sort of fixed ladder?
No.
Okay. That was not a requirement of the fire marshal?
I believe that there was some comments in the review letter, and I did not see anything
Okay.
specifically called for it.
And typically, like in other communities around the state, is that some sort of requirement, having a permanent fixed ladder or some sort of roof access for their local fire departments?
No, we've never had that request given to us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burr, you look like the likely candidate to start with today.
Mr. Chairman. So Austin, I see on the plans that these panels have somewhat of a low profile. Is it fair to say that these will not be visible from public view in your estimation? Will any of the equipment on the roof be seen?
No, it shouldn't. In addition to it being a very low profile, there's actually a pretty substantial parapet wall of approximately 4 feet when we went up there earlier this year. In addition to that, it does seem like the building is at the steepest slope of the surrounding areas. So combined with those two things, even myself, when I did a visual walk around it, there is going to be zero visibility to the general public of this project.
Okay.
And if I can interject too, we'll have our engineer up to testify as to some of the, details of the site, including the parapet. Yep.
And you would testify that you already have BPU. Do you have PSE&G approvals in hand already?
Yes.
So all of those are taken care of. And you had mentioned that in your estimation, there would not be a need to remove any trees. Now I know, and I'm assuming that's for the transformer, the pad-mounted transformer down along Main Street.
Yep.
I know that there are some pretty significant landscape beds in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that they're not disturbed. Would you agree to a potential condition that you're not going to remove or disturb any of those landscape beds, and to the extent that the transformer needs to be located or tucked behind them, you'll do your best to do that?
Absolutely. Like I said, I walked the site earlier. There's ample space for us to put our transformer where we won't have to remove any of that.
And if the final location happens to be in an open area, would you be willing to put some plantings in just to screen it from the road for the
Sure.
transformer? Wouldn't be a problem? Okay. Thank you. That's all I had. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Armad, do you have any questions for Mr. Corso's and his testimony?
No, Mr. Burr took all of my questions.
Okay.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's open it up to the public. Any members of the public who would like to ask questions of Mr. Corso about his specific testimony regarding solar landscapes and the information he shared with us? Seeing none, I'm going to close that portion of the meeting. Mr. Grun, are we moving on?
Yep. So with that, I'll call our next witness, Ryan Holosi, who is the applicant's professional engineer. And we also have a few exhibits that we would like to display.
Okay.
I believe, we'd be able to hook up.
Is it something we can share on our screens here?
I
Yes.
believe so.
And we have actual
Yes.
real paper. sorry. Did you get anything yet?
So Ryan, while that's being passed around, would you raise your right hand and do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give to this board be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And your name for the record, please?
Ryan Holosi, Hollosi.
Thank you.
Could you just, for the benefit of the board, go through your background and qualifications?
Yes, I'm a project manager at ShorePoint Engineering. I'm a licensed professional engineer since 2024. I've testified in front of numerous boards across New Jersey and in front of this one earlier this year. And my license is current and in good standing.
Very well. We accept you and your credentials. Thank you.
And can you confirm that your office prepared the site plan that was submitted to this board?
Yes.
And can you describe the existing site conditions? I believe we have.
Before we do that, I know you just handed something out. Why don't we just describe what, you don't have to get too detailed, just to describe what that is for the record so we have that.
Yes, so the first sheet of that packet is just a zoomed in plan of showing the ground mounted equipment, showing the setbacks. The second page is an existing aerial image with our proposed solar panels on the roof in the blue, and then again the ground mounted area to the south of the site in the brown hatch. And then the last three sheets are the plans that were already previously submitted.
So we could maybe just mark them into.
Well, we could mark them all independently.
I think we already submitted the last three sheets, the site plan.
Yeah,
so-
is the site plan that you just handed up any different than what's been provided?
No.
Okay, so we don't really have to mark that. The first sheet we'll mark as A1, which is entitled Equipment Exhibit. And then the second sheet is the aerial exhibit. We'll mark that as A2. Okay?
All right, so if you can describe the existing conditions referring to what's just been marked as A2.
Yes, so the property is known and designated as Block 349, Lot 5, containing about 17.7 acres, and is located within the planned retail, commercial, and public development zoning district. It has frontages along Promenade Boulevard, Main Street, and Foothill Road. Surrounding the property is commercial use, as well as the existing lot is commercial use with stores like Marshall's and Wine Outlet. And it also across the lot, there is a Costco with existing solar panels on the roof. And next door is a Target with existing solar panels on the roof. And the existing building has a footprint of 169,529 square feet and a height of about 24.7 feet.
All right, I'm sorry if I missed it. Can you just give us the approximate acreage of the site?
17.7.
All right, so with respect to the applicant's proposal, can you just walk us through the relief that we are seeking?
Yes, so we will be seeking a use variance required because community solar is not listed as a permitted use in the PRCPD zone, and two bulk variances, the first one being for the accessory structure in the front yard setback along Main Street, which required is 75 feet. The proposed ground-mounted equipment transformer is located within the 75 feet setback, and the setback is about 14.4 feet. And the second bulk variance is the maximum allowed total impervious coverage for the zone, which is 60%. The existing is already over that at 66.9%, and our proposed lot coverage increased slightly to 67.0% just due to that small increase of the transformer, which is about 115 square feet.
And I believe it was a question in the board planner and engineer's review letter, but can you just give us the square footage of the transformer and equipment, and then as that relates to the square footage of the site?
Yes, so the transformer adds about 115 square feet of coverage, and again, that's a very small percentage, which takes that little tick from 66.9% to 70% of impervious coverage on the site.
All right, so if you can just provide some of the panel statistics regarding the power and the count, so the module count.
Yes, the total amount of modules on the roof will be 1,408, which will produce about 936,000 kilowatt hours, which is enough to power about 113 homes annually.
All right, and the panels you can confirm are anti-glare?
Yes.
And we had to receive approval from the FAA just to
Yes.
be able to put the panels in. Can you walk us through, I guess, moving to Exhibit A1 now?
Before you do that, I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose that last comment, because you were talking about the glare from the panels. Am I correct? Was that the question?
Yes.
And that specifically you would need FAA approval?
Yes.
Okay. And is that pending, or is that something you haven't done yet?
That's something we submitted with our application.
Okay.
So,
And then with respect to glare, and I know Mr. Burr alluded to this earlier, but the way the panels will be mounted on the roof, you don't anticipate any glare or visual impact that could be picked up by residents, other retailers there, the stadium across the street, any of those things. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yes, and these panels are low glare, are built in that they won't produce any glare.
Okay.
on that point, can you just confirm, I know Austin spoke about this, but can you confirm the parapet and the height of the panels?
Yes, so the existing parapet is about 4 feet, and the solar panels will add about 8 inches, and then that inverter will add about 4.5 feet.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so the panels, it's fair to say, will be not visible behind the parapet.
Correct.
Please continue.
All right, so moving to Exhibit A1, I believe, what was marked regarding the equipment for the panels. Can you just walk us through all of the accessory equipment?
Yes, there will be two proposed utility poles. Let me change that on the screen. Yeah, so there's two proposed utility poles that will be connected with overhead electric. Those are right here across Main Street, and then they will tie into a transformer, which is ground mounted, which will tie into the panel boards that's building mounted. And protecting the transformer and the panel board will be proposed bollards.
And can you just, for the sake of the record, just orient us to the site? So where exactly on the property that this equipment is being located and the panels itself?
Yeah, so technically this is considered a front yard setback, but it is the rear of the site. So in the area where this is located, there's usually no general public getting back here. It's usually just for deliveries or, typical deliveries. No public people will be coming back here and getting back into this equipment.
All right, and also for the record, can you just confirm there were some non-conforming conditions from the PRCPD zone?
Yes, there's 4 non-conforming conditions. The first one is for a minimum lot area, where 20 acres is required and 17.7 acres is existing. The second one is minimum front yard setback, where 150 feet is required and 28.3 feet is existing. The minimum side yard setback, where 75 feet are required and 16.2 feet is existing. And the minimum side yard setback for both sides, where 175 feet is required and 40.6 feet is existing. And again, none of our proposed work will be worsening these conditions.
All right. And then just to, you had an opportunity to review some of the board review letters?
Yes.
All of the board review letters. So just to address some of those comments, maybe walk through some of that. We spoke about the screening already. Can you confirm compliance with the relevant ordinance sections related to solar panels?
Yes.
And you confirm that the applicant will comply with those sections?
Yes.
Can you confirm that the proposed improvements won't alter any grading or drainage patterns on the property?
Yep. No grading or stormwater will be affected.
And then you also confirm that the applicant will comply with all relevant codes, including the building code and the fire code?
Yes.
That comment was listed in the fire officials board review letter, or the fire officials review letter. I don't believe I have any further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Are there any questions for this witness from members of the board at this time, respecting his testimony on engineering for the site?
I have one.
Mr. McDonald?
How is the electric getting from the top of the Bob's Discount Furniture over to the transformer? I don't see any indication of where that wire cable is.
There is a cable run, so if you, a cable tray run, if you look up, there is a black dashed line on the front of that building that connects the two.
That's what that indicates.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Would you be the witness testifying to the suitability of the structure to support this sort of solar?
So I'm not the structural engineer, but they do solar does a structural analysis that looks on the, that this is able to withstand the extra weight.
Okay, and are they present tonight?
So,
But they have a report that they could submit if you would like to see that.
yeah, I believe we
I'm sorry, if you're going to speak, then we have to ask you to step back up and talk into the microphone and so on. But the question had to do with the structural support required for the weight. And I think that earlier the testimony had to do with, from Mr. Corso, was that the structural analysis had been done and that it was ample to support the additional weight of the solar panels. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes, that's correct.
So you're not correcting me, you're agreeing with me. Okay, thank you.
That's correct, and I just wanted the record to show that we submitted a structural feasibility report with our application. That as part of all the solar applications that Solar Landscape does before they pick the site. They want to make sure that the panels can.
No, I'm glad Mr. Vesio asked the question. We don't want to gloss over it, but at the same time, we know that the required study has been done and that it meets those requirements to provide that level of support. So it's a good idea not to get it lost in the testimony that where we might have been thinking about something else at the time. Mr. Burr, engineering questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Ryan, Mr. Corso earlier testified about the decommissioning process and that all the panels will be removed 3 months after the lease agreement expires. You'll be providing, and similar to the other two applications that you've been involved with, you'll be providing a decommissioning plan and a safety plan for the board's records?
Yes.
I also believe we did submit that as well. Yeah, we submitted.
Okay.
Hold on one second. With our July 1st submission, where we submitted all of the copies.
Okay.
I believe that's where we submitted some of the safety-related information that you had just identified. And then with our original application, I believe we submitted the decommissioning plan, so all that information is available.
Thank you. And you testified about the increase in impervious coverage, and I just want to make sure that I understand. So the only new coverage is the actual transformer pad, which I think you said is 115 square feet, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But that your plans reference an increase from, I think, was it 66.9 to 67? I'm assuming that's just kind of a function of the rounding.
Rounding, yep.
Because when you do the math, it's like 700 square feet.
Very small amount, yes.
You're not proposing 700 feet, it's 115, and that's it for the
Yes.
transformer. It's just that rounding.
Yep.
Okay. And then in the submission, or I think in the land use report, there was a copy of a review letter from Somerset County. And they had deemed, at least the version I saw, they deemed the application incomplete, and they had some questions about right-of-ways. I trust that you're working through that, or you will be working through that with the county?
We're in the process with editing our plans and submitting them.
Okay. And have they given you any, I don't know if you've had a meeting or any discussion with them, did they provide you any initial feedback about the two new utility poles on either side of Main Street? Have they weighed in on that yet, or they will be?
Yeah, they haven't said anything to us about that.
Not that you're aware of.
Yep.
But you don't anticipate, from a safety perspective or anything else that they may be looking at, you don't anticipate any issues with your proposal to put the poles in and have the electric line
Right.
across their road?
Yeah, because I know PSC&G works closely with them, so I know they will abide by all the rules.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, I think that's all I had.
With respect to those comments made by the county planning, where does that leave us with, because it's a work in progress, or is it, how would you describe that in terms of our ability to make decisions based on their not completing something.
Yeah, the applicant is going to need to obtain the unconditional approval of the county, but it's common to have that as a condition of this board's approval, and if something changes in the course of the county reviewing and approving it that drastically changes the application, they may need to come back here. Otherwise, it would be a condition of approval that they would just address or obtain the
Okay.
final approval from the county.
It is one of our standard conditions with every
Right.
similar application.
Great, thank you. Ms. Armad, questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had one comment from the review that I wanted to make sure was covered. It was really just a housekeeping item. I think in the zone table, there's what I perceived was an incorrect dimension provided for the existing front yard setback. It's provided right now as 13.5 feet, and I don't believe that's the existing condition for the front yard. So I just want that cleaned up, as to not get it confused.
Yeah, that's the building, not the building we're proposing the solar panels on. There's another building on site that has the 13.3, but if you would like us to update based on our
No,
building.
that's fine. I appreciate the clarification. So it's the building that's not part of, it's on the site, but not part of the application.
Yes.
Understood. I appreciate the clarification, and I stand corrected. So I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. What I'd like to do is open the meeting to the public to ask any questions of Mr. Holosi and his testimony specific to engineering. And seeing no comments, I'm going to, one, compliment you on your printer, because, boy, these are great copies. Other engineers should take note, just from my own perspective, but thank you for that. Any last-minute questions? If not, please call your next witness.
Yeah, so our last witness is Andrew Janow, professional planner.
It seems we've met before, but I'm not quite certain. But we're going to go through the entire process once again, if you don't mind.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name for the record, please?
Andrew Janu, Janiw, with Beacon Planning and Consulting Services, 315 Highway 34, Colts Neck, New Jersey.
All right, Mr. Janow, can you just go through your background and qualifications?
Certainly. For the record, I am a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, as well as a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in civil engineering from the New Jersey Institute of Technology, and I've been a principal in the firm of Beacon Planning for the past 28 years. I'm currently serving as the planner for the Borough of Carteret in Middlesex County, the Borough of Freehold in Monmouth County, as well as redevelopment consultant to South Amboy and Bayonne. Testified before this board and throughout the state of New Jersey throughout my years of practice. And in 2022, I was appointed by Governor Murphy to the State Board of Professional Planners.
And your license is current?
It is.
And in good standing?
And in good standing.
Does the board accept his qualifications?
We do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so with respect to this application, you have visited the site?
I have visited the site. I have reviewed the correspondence, the application, as well as the review letters that have been provided by the municipal professionals related to this.
You also examined the township zoning ordinance and the master plan?
That's correct.
All right, if you can just run through the property zoning and some of the surrounding uses?
Certainly. So the property is located within the Planned Retail, Commercial, and Public Development, or PRCPD zone. And this permits retail, commercial, public facilities development, restaurants, theaters, outdoor centers, basically a general retail district. It also permits uses that are permitted under your M2 district with the bulk requirements pursuant to that district. Pursuant to that ordinance section, roof-mounted solar and photovoltaics facilities are permitted as an accessory use. What we're proposing this evening is a photovoltaic system that will not be accessory. In fact, the energy will be part of a community solar program. Therefore, it'll be used off-site, making this a principal use on the property, requiring the relief that we're requesting. With respect to the specific variance relief that we are seeking a D1 use variance for the roof-mounted solar panels. We are seeking 2 new bulk variances. For maximum lot coverage, 60% is permitted, where 66.9% currently exists, and 67 is proposed. And again, that's rounding. It's 115 square feet of additional transformer pad space. We are seeking a front yard setback for an accessory structure, and this is related to that same equipment, which will be located within the front yard setback of Main Street. I believe we went through the existing conditions, which are non-conforming, and those include lot size, as well as existing conditions related to front yard, side yard, and combined side yard setback. Those aren't being aggravated by this application, and those are pre-existing conditions that will remain the same. As mentioned, this property is improved with a multi-tenanted retail building. It shares a parking lot essentially with a Costco and is proximate to the Target site. The Target and the Costco both have roof-mounted solar facilities already existing. These are proposed to be placed upon the rooftops of the building that essentially backs up to Main Street. The building has a 4-foot parapet, as was testified to, and these panels will have about an 8 or 9 inch relief off the roof. So essentially will be below that parapet level. When looking through this application, we obviously have to reconcile it with your master plan and ordinance. And with respect to your 2025 master plans, policies, and goals, excuse me, these include to provide a balanced land use pattern in the township of residential, commercial, limited industrial, public, semi-public, conservation, and open space uses that support residential neighborhoods, and to maintain and strengthen existing commercial districts, preserve some remaining industrial areas, increase parks, recreation, and open space where appropriate, protect environmentally sensitive natural features, accommodate community facilities, and facilitate local regional circulation without placing undue demand on infrastructure and local roads. Specific goals within the master plan include to provide a balanced land use pattern in the township of residential, commercial, industrial, public, and semi-public spaces, conservation, parks, open spaces that support, again, residential districts. We are on point with these objectives, as the community solar project will benefit the existing commercial use and support the existing commercial use by essentially creating another essential stream of income through the lease of the rooftops, while still providing community members the benefit of having low-cost energy that will be generated on top of the existing buildings. So essentially, it's consistent with both the community aspects and the commercial support goals and policies within your master plan. As this board knows, the application is not for the sole benefit of the applicant. There has to be a public purpose identified for the variance relief sought, and those public purposes are reiterated within the Municipal Land Use Law, Section 4055D. There are 16 purposes outlined of zoning, any one of which would satisfy the public use aspect of the application. In this case, I believe there are 4 that are appropriate for this policy, for this application. And I'll list them by letter as they are listed within the MLUL. A is to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. I'll address this a little bit more detail further in my testimony, but New Jersey legislature recognizes clean and renewable energy sources as an inherently beneficial use, or a use that's so important to the public health and general welfare of communities that it has received a special status wherein it's generally perceived to satisfy the positive criteria of a use variance. G is to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of agricultural, residential, recreational, commercial, and industrial uses and open space requirements in order to meet all the needs of New Jersey citizens. The use is permitted as an accessory use. In this instance, the power generated will be utilized off-site and will be the infrastructure for this will be generally placed on an existing building. It is an appropriate location given that the use is anticipated as accessory and the de minimis bulk variance relief sought essentially to benefit this is essentially non-consequential to the detriment to the public. M is to encourage the coordination of the various public and private procedures and activities shaping land development with a view of lessening the cost of such development and to the more efficient use of land. Again, these buildings exist and present an opportunity for community solar projects in the area, and we are taking advantage of that. And finally, self-explanatory, N is to promote the utilization of renewable energy resources, and we are on point with that public purpose. So that brings us to the D1 relief this evening, for which we are seeking a variance. Previously indicated that the New Jersey legislature found renewable energy facilities to be termed inherently beneficial, and has provided guidance for inherently beneficial uses. The concept of inherently beneficial uses was judicially created to deal with a relatively narrow range of uses so universally considered to be of community value that municipalities should favorably dispose applications towards their inclusion. These uses are universally considered of value to the community because they fundamentally serve the public good and promote the general welfare. Such uses include, but are not limited to, hospitals, schools, child care centers, group homes, and wind, solar, or photovoltaic energy facilities or structures. SECA versus Board of Adjustment of Wall Township prescribed what's known as the SECA balance test, which is applied when an inherently beneficial use is under scrutiny by a board such as tonight. The SECA court held that inherently beneficial uses satisfy the positive criteria by virtue of the benefits of such uses and the provision of the benefits to communities. Therefore, the applicant's burden of proof shifts to satisfying the negative criteria. For an inherently beneficial use, the burden with respect to negative criteria is significantly less than with respect to a typical non-inherently beneficial commercial use. There is no enhanced proof of quality requirement. Instead, the SECA balancing test is employed. The board must balance the positive and negative criteria to determine whether, on balance, the D variance can be granted without creating substantial detriment to the public good or without substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan. The SECA balancing test is a four-pronged test, and I'll walk the board through that. The first point is to initially identify the public interest at stake. In this case, the public interest at stake is the generation of clean, renewable energy for use by a community solar program. The proposed solar array and associated equipment are a part of the solar community effort, which community members can join and receive a reduction on electrical bills. It is a direct community benefit and a contribution to the general welfare by providing a green energy source. Two is to identify any detrimental effects which would ensue from the grant of the variance. Roof-mounted solar panels are permitted as an accessory use. Although technically this application is for a principal use, not an accessory use, it will not visually differ from the permitted accessory use. The solar panels will essentially have a flat mounting to the rooftops, rising 8 or 9 inches. They will not be visually intrusive to the general public. There is an additional 4-foot parapet which will act to screen the roof panels. Therefore, there will not be a detrimental visual impact. You heard testimony regarding the FAA approval. These are essentially matte panels which do not create any substantial glare, so there won't be any issues related to that. Additionally, this is a neighborhood that already has solar panels integrated onto rooftops. It will not be disruptive in terms of the zone pattern. Excuse me. The third point is to determine whether any of the detrimental impacts can be reduced by imposing reasonable conditions on the uses. Again, this is a flush-mounted system. Minor variances are requested for equipment that cannot be roof-mounted. It was a suggestion from your engineer that to the extent that the transformer pad be visible, that we screen it with plantings. Mr. Corso indicated that would be an acceptable condition, that would be reasonable. There was a further concern that if any of the planting beds would be disrupted by this, that they would be restored. Again, that is a reasonable condition to put upon this application. So we would be able to, again, address any of those conditions with respect to what may be visibly intrusive on the ground-mounted equipment. And finally, we weigh the positive against the negative criteria. The positive is obviously to permit a regenerative energy source that benefits the community. It's a low-scale installation. It will not be visible. And with respect to the negative criteria, it does not generate any noise, any additional traffic, any trash. It is essentially non-intrusive, and I don't believe there's anything that's a substantial detriment to the community. Recent case law, however, was stipulated within Monarch Communities LLC versus the Township of Montville, indicated that applicant, even in the Sika balancing test, must demonstrate that the proposed use will not substantially be detrimental to the zone plan. In this instance, solar installations are a permitted accessory use. They're anticipated visually within the zoning district. These panels will not be able to be distinguished as to whether they're an accessory to the building or a community solar panel. I do not believe this is a substantial detriment to the zone plan, and in fact, I think it even resolves the concerns raised in the Monarch case. So with respect to the substantial detriment, I don't see any. The panels and equipment are buffered. They will be screened. They will be essentially towards the back of the building. They don't generate any substantial noise, traffic, trash, or runoff. The deviations can be accommodated by the conditions that we had talked about. And I believe on balance that this, the Sika test is essentially resolved in favor of the application, and this board can consider this. With respect to bulk variances, the two bulk variances we're seeking, case law in Price v. Himeji supports that the bulk relief in these cases can be subsumed. However, I would also be able to qualify the two bulk requirements under the C1 or hardship variance. The C1 variance or the hardship test is that there is a special unique shape or topographic condition or a result of a pre-existing condition, whereas the strict application of the ordinance would result in undue hardship. In this case, where we're dealing with lot coverage, we already have a situation where we exceed the lot coverage. We're adding 115 square feet. It's a de minimis increase. This is driven by the fact that we have an existing condition that's already in place, and we can't do anything about that. The second variance we're seeking relief for is the placement of the accessory structure within a front yard. While it's the rear of the building, it does face Main Street. There is a 75-foot setback requirement. However, the equipment essentially is within an area that is less than 75 feet. I don't believe the 75-foot exists in that area. So this is, again, a function of not only the installation of the building, but the parameters around the back of the building that require us to place this within a front yard. So when we look at this, I think we can reconcile both these bulk variances under the C1 criteria. With respect to substantial detriment, again, I don't see anything that's impacted by this application that we can't deal with respect to screening or replacement, any disturbed landscaping. Again, on the bulk standards, I think we do meet the test for granting of these variants.
Very well.
And just to confirm, it's your testimony that granting these variances as proposed will have no negative impact upon the surrounding land uses?
It is. That is my testimony.
All right, I have no further direct questions for this witness.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Janu. Members of the board, do you have any questions specific to Mr. Janu's planning testimony? Ms. Sarmad, you are the logical person to be speaking next.
Mr. Janu, just one question about your testimony. I think you mentioned that the 75-foot setback doesn't exist in this area. And just a clarification, is there no appropriate area within the 75 or outside of the 75 feet for that equipment?
It's not. Essentially the point of the transformer location is determined by the utility, and they've determined that this is the appropriate location given where their infrastructure exists.
Understood, thank you. And as long as the applicant agrees to the condition of, potentially where possible and practical, landscaping around that transformer to enhance that, I think that that's perfectly fine. Other than that, I have no questions for Mr. Janu.
Mr. Burr.
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Well, I should take a moment and see if there's any members of the public who wanted to question you about your testimony. And seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew. Those are all the
Mr. Grunton, you would like to?
Yep, those are all the witnesses that I have.
Okay. Would you like to offer a quick summary?
Sure.
You don't have to. I'm
No,
just asking.
I can speak on it. So, I think it's evinced by the testimony here tonight. There's solar panels in the surrounding area. We're proposing, albeit not for generation of power on the property itself, the actual panels we're proposing, which are for members within the community of Bridgewater and surrounding communities are not out of character with the area. And we've been before this board numerous times for solar applications specifically. And we've received approvals for them, and
Very well.
I believe that's
Thank
all I have.
thank you. Mr. Oler, the real crux of this whole thing comes down to accessory use versus principal use, and we've had testimony explaining as the difference between those two things, and that this application would be to sell power essentially back to the utility company, and therefore would be defined as a principal use, and that's really among the reasons we're here, but that's the driving force.
Yeah, your statement's 100% correct. If
Thank you.
it were to be used on-site only, it would be permitted as an accessory use.
Very well. So if we were to be entertaining an approval of this, would you describe to the board before we deliberate what would be approving?
Sure, so again, a D1, for the reasons we just said.
Yes.
For the use of the solar panels to be located on the roof, as well as the two bulk variances that were just mentioned, along with conditions, which would be that the applicant would agree not to remove any of the existing landscape beds and would add additional landscape buffer around the transformer wherever possible to the satisfaction of the township planner. And as we heard from the applicant's planner, the test now, based on the somewhat newer Monarch case, is
Yes.
that the board should make a determination that the project does not substantially impair the zoning ordinance. And before you do the SICA balancing test of, what is the benefit? Is there a detriment? Can we have conditions? And then you balance those together.
Yes. So let's have some deliberation, if it's appropriate, from members of the board. I had stated earlier that I think the crux of the issue really came down between the accessory use and principal use. Based on the conditions that we would impose, I'm comfortable with those conditions, and I would recommend that we approve this application. But let's hear from some other people. Mrs. Amin, would you like to offer any deliberation?
Any comment?
No comment? Mr. Fresco?
No, I agree. I agree with your statement.
Thank you. Mr. Vesio?
I would approve the application. I have nothing else to add.
Thank you. Mr. Calucci?
I agree with what you said.
Mr. Weidelli?
I thought you did a fine job, your witnesses, to explain the differences and how it all works, and I'm in favor of it.
Mr. Gajewski?
Yes, I certainly recommend approving the application and wish there was an easier way to do this for them in the future.
Ms. Wiseman?
No objection.
Okay. Mr. McDowell?
This one's a no-brainer. I don't even really know why we really need to
Well, we
have it
have to
come
do
before
our
the zoning.
diligence after all, but I appreciate your view. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So let's entertain then a motion to approve the application with the conditions. And Mr. Oler, you read them. Do you need to read them again? Okay.
Unless someone needs to hear them again. There's only two.
Okay.
Let me just track them down again, though. So was that the applicant would not remove any of the existing landscape beds and would add additional landscape buffer around the transformer wherever possible.
Great. Thank you. So with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the application. Mr. Wiley makes the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Gajewski. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Kulak,
Yes.
Mr. Wadley,
Yes.
Mrs. Amin,
Yes.
Mr. Fresco,
Yes.
Mr. Gajewski,
Yes.
Ms. Wiseman,
Yes.
Mr. Vesio.
Yes.
Very well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to the applicant, and appreciate the moving forward. And Mr. Grun, thank you very much.
Thank you, Board.
Appreciate it.
Have a good
We're
night.
going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll reconvene at the end of that 10 minutes. So we're in the process of reconvening, and we're going to start with Ms. Probst doing a roll call and make sure everybody's still here.
Chairman Kulak,
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Wardelli,
Here.
Mrs. Amin, Mr. Fresco,
Yes, here.
Mr. Gajewski,
Here.
Ms. Wiseman. Here. Mr. Vesio,
Here.
Mr. Colucci,
Here.
Mr. McNella.
Here.
Board professionals are also all.
They all came back. Very well. Thank you very much. Next up for us is application number 26-009-ZB, Champion Real Estate Management LLC. This is Block 170, Lot 1.01, 1, 2, and 3, Route 28 Milltown Road. This is an amendment to a prior approval. And here representing the applicant is Mr. Silbert, who's going to take a moment to introduce himself and tell us what we're going to be doing tonight.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Kulak. For the record, Michael Silbert, attorney, Murphy, Schiller, and Wilkes LLP, here on behalf of the applicant, Champion Real Estate Management LLC. For the record, I want to confirm our notice is adequate.
I did review the notice. It's a proper form that's served timely and published timely, so the board does have jurisdiction.
And then one other housekeeping item. To the extent that a written transcript is required, we will provide one from the YouTube recording, so we will speak clearly in the microphone to allow our court reporter or stenographer to prepare a transcript.
And it is required under the board rules.
Excellent. Okay. So as Chairman Kulak indicated, the subject property before the board is 208 Route 28, Block 170, Lot 1.01, formerly known as Lots 1, 2, and 3 when this application appeared before the board back in 2022 in connection with its original site plan approval. And it's Route 208, right? 28, sorry. 208 Route 28. So on April 15, 2022, this board granted the applicant preliminary and final major site plan approval with D1 use variance relief, D2 relief for a pre-existing non-conforming condition, an enhancement there too, and D4 FAR variance relief, along with bulk variance relief and design waivers. That application called for the construction of a 5,364 square foot addition to the existing auto body repair facility on the property. The lots, as a condition of that approval, were subsequently consolidated or merged into what is now Lot 1.01. This auto repair facility, which is in the record as part of the original approval, first came to Bridgewater at this location back in 1966. It's been in the same family since then, multi-generational and a true Bridgewater success story. I do have a video this evening if any members of the board that are unfamiliar with the property or didn't have the chance to visit it prior to tonight's hearing, if they would like to see the new facility, it is in operation. I can depict that to the board if necessary. But in connection with the original approval, the applicant received, I had mentioned, FAR variance relief to permit an FAR on the property of 23.7%, where the zone allows 15%. The property is located in the C3A zone. And in that 2022 approval, the application and the resolution contemplated the construction of a mezzanine level consisting of approximately 1,400 square feet. So while the overall addition to the building was completed and the building is operational, the applicant did not construct the mezzanine level yet. And the applicant is seeking amended approval from this board, once again, to forego the construction of the mezzanine level, which will actually result in a reduction in the overall FAR variance. We're still before this board to seek FAR relief because despite the reduction in the FAR overage, we are still non-compliant with the ordinance, so we still need to seek FAR relief to that effect. And as a condition of approval, if this were to be approved, as I'd mentioned, the mezzanine level would be foregone, and the applicant is seeking permission from this board to instead install an accessory storage shed on the property of 1,200 square feet. There are a number of variances, which we'll get into this evening, that's being sought. Namely, the reason, again, why we're before this board is the board retains jurisdiction in connection with the original approval. The FAR relief that we are seeking goes down from 23.7% down to 21% because the accessory storage shed does not count towards the definition of floor area ratio. So it is a reduction in FAR. We're also seeking a number of C variances. The applicant previously received minimum side yard setback relief for an accessory structure on the property, the dumpster on the property, but we are seeking, again, side yard setback relief for the accessory storage shed where 20 feet is required and 8.67 feet is proposed. Your ordinance also limits the amount of square footage permitted for an accessory structure. It caps it at 1,000 square feet. We're seeking a storage shed to allow for 1,200 square feet on the property. That's a deviation or a variance from section 126-339C. Lastly, it's identified in our application materials, and it's identified in the joint review memo from Ms. Armat and Mr. Burr. It notes relief from section 126-338B for the number of accessory structures, where the ordinance limits the number of accessory structures to 2 on any lot, and the application cover letter and the report indicates that the proposed shed appears to represent the 3rd accessory structure on the property. I was since told that and we'll get in this with our testimony this evening, that there was a shed approved in connection with the original application. That shed no longer is on the property, so I believe that we can eliminate that variance and we can keep it to 2 accessory structures on the property. So that's our introduction, and I am joined by one professional witness this evening, Mr. Dave Stiers. His office prepared the original site plan. His office prepared the amended site plan. I'm also joined by the principal of the applicant, Mr. Glenn Morello, whose family and who himself has run the facility on the property, as I had mentioned, since 1966. So I'd love to, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just get into our first witness.
Please, go right ahead.
Would you stand, raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, your name, please?
David Stiers, S-T-I-R-E-S.
Thank you.
And Mr. Stiers, I know you've been accepted as an expert in the field of engineering by this board many times before, but if you would please provide the board with your professional academic background.
Yeah, I'm a 1985 graduate of Lehigh University, secured my professional planners and professional engineers license in 1990. I've testified before this board many times, back even when Larry Vastola was here many, many moons ago. So I'm dating myself a little bit, but again, I've testified before this board and many boards throughout the state. I also represent Watchung Board of Adjustment as their consulting engineer and planner.
And your license is in good standing?
Yes, it is.
Very well. We accept you as an expert, and you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Stiers, I represented in my introduction that your office prepared both the original site plan and the amended site plan materials in front of the board this evening.
Yes, we did.
Can you please walk the board through original approval and existing conditions?
Yes, so I have a rendering off to our right, which is...
Would you mark that A1, please? That's rendered sheet number what?
It's a little bit of a composite. So it's entitled Rendering Site Plan, but it is a composite of exactly what is in the site plan packet. It just has a couple different layers.
Colorized site plan?
Yeah, just the rendered site plan, yep.
Yes.
Okay.
As Michael indicated, we secured approval back in 2022 to expand the Bridgewater Collision Facility. So basically what happened is the existing facility was on the east side, represented in the tan here, and there's a little notch in the building, so the expansion was on the west side and represents that section there, and basically the parking lot. Prior to the expansion, I don't know if everybody recalls, but there was a existing house on the corner on a separate lot that was boarded up for many years, and that was removed as a part of the expansion. And we have in the darker gray in the southern corner kind of a storage area that was approved in 2022 for some of the vehicles and storage of parts and stuff. And so that area is fenced in with it's not a board-on-board, the boards are horizontal, but it's relatively a solid 6-foot-high fence that surrounds that area. The dumpster's located in there, and like I said, there's vehicles that are waiting to be repaired and some equipment in that general area. And the remaining gray area is the existing parking field. Again, the west side was the expansion, and the east side existed prior to 2022. Our proposal is to do a 20 by 60 shed in the rear of the facility, and again, that's to replace what was proposed as the mezzanine. It's a bit more functional than the mezzanine in that the guys don't have to go up and down the stairs and such. The game plan in 2022 was pretty good with what Glenn had come up with. We just think this proposal would be a little bit more efficient. There's a lot of equipment that comes with the newer vehicles. Back in the old days, you'd repair vehicles. Now you take the parts off and throw them away and order new parts. And, you got the sensors and the cameras and all that come with it. So there's a lot of storage space required for the operation.
While you were referring to the exhibit that you referenced, and I heard Mr. Silbert address this earlier, but could you clear up for me and the rest of the board the number of accessory structures? Because there was reference to a third shed, but there's only two. If you could just help us with clarity understand that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where we had that shed proposed, but there was a shed proposed, I believe, in this storage area, the darker gray. The tan area is where the dumpster facility is. So that would be a accessory structure, and we would be proposing a second one. We don't have a third one on the plan as proposed.
Question I have for you is that there was a shed previously approved.
Yes.
And it's not constructed on top. This means this new shed is going to take the place of this old one?
Yes, yes.
While also replacing the mezzanine level, so I think it's serving a dual purpose, replacing the prior shed while also replacing the previously approved mezzanine level.
Yeah, it's basically the need for storage. So we had the need for storage. We had planned for the mezzanine, which was 1,400 square feet. We had a shed proposed. I don't know the exact square footage. And we're trying to replace the mezzanine and the prior shed approval with a 1,200 square foot shed.
So the prior shed wasn't installed and it will not be installed.
It was existing and it was removed.
Good.
Thank you.
Just a couple of questions, because you might be wearing two hats this evening. So you had a chance to look at the ordinance prior to tonight's hearing.
Yes.
And can you confirm that accessory structures do not count towards the floor area ratio requirements under the township's ordinance?
That's correct. And we did include it in our zoning chart to be conservative. So the numbers are somewhat high. Our proposed FAR is 0.233, when if you subtract out the storage shed, it should be 0.21. And the existing is 0.237, so there is a reduction.
So we will update the zoning table to reflect the fact that we are seeking an FAR variance in the amount of 0.21, which is consistent with Ms. Armad's report.
So you're essentially subtracting the mezzanine previously approved
That's right.
and not counting the storage shed
That's
in the FAR calculation.
with a very minor discrepancy between the storage shed is slightly smaller than what the mezzanine space would have been.
Yes.
The number you see on the site plan and the bulk standards table
Right.
reflects that minor deviation, but because it's an accessory structure and the ordinance doesn't count it towards the FAR, it really drops down to 21% FAR, but we wanted the board to see that even if it did count towards the FAR, it's still a reduction than what was previously.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Does this affect the impervious surface
No,
calculation?
it's on a existing stone base. That's the storage area for the vehicles in the back of the building. So there is no impervious change.
Is this shed portable? I mean, or does it have like a foundation and a slab and,
It would have footings. There is no slab proposed.
okay. So is it portable then? Could they pick it up and move it somewhere?
No, it's not portable.
Okay.
There actually is in the final sheet of the site plan submitted to the board, there is a description, an architectural description or visual of the proposed shed. And it's our intent to match the style of the shed so that it complements the existing building so that it doesn't, and we could agree to that as a condition of approval. We don't want it to stick out in any manner. We want it to kind of, blend in with the renovated building on the property. So that's also our intention.
Okay.
Just going to some of the relief that we're seeking. So do you believe, based upon the prior approval, that the site can accommodate the FAR variance relief this evening?
Yes, I do.
And you don't see that there's any negative impacts to the community as a reduction of the reduction in the FAR?
No, and on top of that, I mean, the building, the shed as proposed is in a storage area. It's just an enclosed storage area, so it's really the same function.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the board previously found that the FAR relief sought in connection with the 2022 approval was consistent did not substantially impair the township's master plan or zone plan. Now it's since been updated since 2022. Is it still your opinion that the reduced FAR, but still the relief that we are seeking does not substantially impair the zone plan?
That is my opinion, yes.
Okay. And then speaking to the side yard setback variance, you had pointed to the dumpster. Can you just recount for the board the setback for the dumpster and just talk the board through the relief that was previously granted in connection with the dumpster?
So the proposed dumpster is located in that southern corner in the yellowish color on the rendering. And the side yard is actually the south side facing the cornfield or farm field. And the setback along that side is 3.4 feet. And the proposed shed is at 8.67. So technically, we're not exasperating that setback on that southern side.
And you reviewed the fire review memo that we received?
I did, yes.
Is the location of the shed in any way dictated by the fire marshal's comments that he would like the shed placed 24 feet off of the principal structure?
Yes, he would like a separation between the principal structure and the proposed shed at 24 feet, and that's basically what it's set at. So that kind of drove the setback variance.
And speaking to that fire review memo, we can comply with the fire review memo?
We can.
Okay, Excellent. So putting aside the request from the fire marshal that it be placed, well, would you agree that that by placing it 24 feet off of the building, that does create a deviation on the side yard setback?
Yes.
Okay. Speaking,
Sorry, so that only exists because of the request by the fire marshal? Is that what you're saying? That setback issue?
not, I'm going to get to more testimony, but not only, that is one of the reasons why the accessory structure is located in that location. So, I think that it's really necessary, well, I don't want to speak.
It's a drive aisle, and, appropriate drive aisle for two-way traffic, if somebody's coming and going in that storage area, it's 24 feet, and that accommodates a fire emergency service.
You could have met the setback requirements had it not been for that 24-foot requirement.
We could not have, no.
Yeah.
Why couldn't the shed be right against the building?
You'd have to, well, you have service bays in the back there, so you have to access the building in various locations, so that's really...
Like no solid wall, there's no solid wall in that building that would allow you to...
No.
Really not without eliminating parking spaces, which was a point of concern for the board during the 2022 approval. And I think we had a traffic expert come and testify that the spaces provided was sufficient. But
yeah, there's service bays on that southern end and on the eastern side of the facility, so it does limit the location of that. We couldn't expand that existing building to accommodate the shed.
And speaking to the size of the accessory shed, because it's 1,200 square feet instead of 1,000 square feet, in your opinion, would you say that one shed at 1,200 square feet is a better alternative than two sheds, one at 1,000 square feet, one at 200 square feet?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more efficient, yes.
Okay. And going off of that, in connection with the 2022 approval, can you speak to whether the applicant was counting on that mezzanine level storage space to properly operate his business on the property?
Yeah, that was part of his business plan. He needed a certain amount of storage for, as I indicated earlier, the cars have, when they get banged up, they get new parts. They don't get repaired. So there's an enormous amount of parts that he needs storage for the operation today versus 25, 30 years ago.
And that mezz level was slightly above 1,200 square feet?
It was very close to 1,400, yes.
Okay, so then, in your opinion, is it reasonable that the applicant would look to utilize storage square footage close to the prior approval?
Yes, very reasonable, yes.
Okay. Do you think that the accessory structure provides sufficient space for this type of commercial use that is now lawfully existing by virtue of the D1 variance?
Yes.
And you believe that this accessory structure would be important to support the longstanding auto body repair operation on the property?
Yeah, it basically cleans up, again, if you don't have the shed and you don't have the mezzanine, you're going to have parts out in that storage facility out in the weather and the elements, and it cleans everything up, yes.
So it doesn't intensify the use, there's no soil disturbance?
That's correct.
Okay. And then based upon the architecturals that you submitted on, I believe, sheet 4 of your site plan, do you think that this 1,200 square foot storage shed is a more desirable visual environment than, say, outdoor storage?
Absolutely.
So that's...
Yeah, and it's compatible with the architectural theme of the existing building.
And do you think that building the accessory structure on existing impervious coverage constitutes an efficient use of land?
Absolutely.
And you believe there certainly are no substantial detriments to the public or to the zone plan in connection with the application before the board this evening?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for this. And you agreed that the applicant comply with all of the comments in the professional review memo from the board planner and board engineer?
Yes, and one comment from Mr. Burr about the grading and the drainage. The roof leaders, there's going to be 4 roof leaders with about 300 square feet of runoff from each portion of the roof. We don't think that will cause an erosion problem. We will put splash blocks down and provide the necessary grading subject to his review as he had requested in the memorandum.
Do you have a video? I'm quite proud of this application. This was the first one I ever handled in my career, honestly. It was before this board in 2022. And the applicant did an incredible job with his build out. It's something when you hear auto body repair, some boards kind of shriek and they're nervous about it, and Mr. Morello and his team did an incredible job. So I just wanted to show the board a drone video, if I can get it up on my screen, really quick.
While you're queuing that up, I don't know how many other board members visited the property, but I had the opportunity to visit the property today, and I drive by there frequently, and the quality of the build-out from the exterior is impressive in that it blends nicely into the overall community. It's a very attractive building, given the nature of the business. In that sense, it's even more attractive. But having the opportunity to go inside the building today and to see how efficiently the space is laid out, how the workflow has improved substantially, it's really quite impressive. So Mr. Morello is to be congratulated on putting together a really efficient, attractive structure that works for his business and the community as well. And I'm sure that's why you want to show us the video.
And
We have to mark this as something?
I'm going to mark this as A2 video, and you'll please let us know what
absolutely
it is and when it was taken and by who.
And Mr. Stiers, you did not take this drone footage, but this appears to be the property from December 2025?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll have Mr. Morello say which company, he hired a company to take the video. I don't know which company. We'll get that on the record very shortly.
We have a drone. Oh, we do.
Okay.
I have two of my employees that drive by there every day, and they're also quite proud of how it turned out. They talk about it often.
And yes, the floor is that clean.
Thank you for indulging me. It's one of those success stories where you have a company that starts its roots back in, many decades ago, and it's grown to this, and I know Mr. Morello is very proud of it. So that's all I have for Mr. Stiers. So thank you very much.
Very well. Any members of the board would like to pose some questions to Mr. Stiers regarding his overall testimony this evening?
I have two. Is there any electric or ventilation for that building proposed? Or is it just going to be a freestanding building with just those 2 doors that are indicated on the architectural plan?
Yeah, it's just storage. There's no sanitary proposed. I would expect that we would have lighting in there and maybe ventilation as well.
And the other thing is, that would it be something that you could do to add some feature, let's say, almost to look like windows or something to the end that faces toward that school? Because it looks like a big blank building.
Yeah, we can have the architect look at that and incorporate that into the design.
Thank you.
Mr. Burr, any questions, please?
I have a few. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dave, just reiterating some of your prior testimony, the new shed, the exterior materials, colors, et cetera, they're going to be modeled to match the new building or the building with the addition?
They will, yes.
And I think I saw on the plan, the new shed would be 13 or 14 feet tall to the peak?
I thought it was a little bit.
The height.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. 13.58, so 13 feet 7 inches.
Okay.
To the peak.
And I'm just curious, in your opinion, where the shed is currently situated, in light of the main building, some of the fencing that's on the site, it's your opinion that that shed would be well screened, if you will, from the public view?
Yeah, again, well, yes, definitely from the public view, you have the fence on the Milltown Road side of it, and the tree row on adjoining southern property line, and then the fence encompasses that whole storage area. So from the residential properties, which there's a few over by the church on the north side of Route 28. I don't think you'll see the facility or the shed at all.
And the plan shows looks like an overhead door and then a man door.
Yes.
Proposed. And both of those doors will be situated to point to the inside of the fenced area, correct?
The east side would be
East side,
yeah.
which would be the fenced-in area where a lot of the vehicles are currently.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So the windows can be on the west side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you had mentioned before, I just want to make sure, did you say there's not going to be a slab? Is
That's,
it
yeah.
going to be there's not going to be a concrete floor?
There is not.
It's going to be gravel?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know your testimony was this essentially replaces the mezzanine for parts, storage, et cetera. That's all that's going to be in use for this shed. There's not going to be any repairs of any kind, or this isn't going to be an extension of the repair business?
No.
It's going to be for storage?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Burr, I forgot to put on the record that we're going to comply with all of the conditions of the prior approval as well as this approval. So if you were going to ask that question, I
You
wanted
took another question
wanted to
away
get
from
that
me.
one.
Perfect. That's great. Last question. I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this off the top of your head, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So when I look at the 2022 approval, there was the variance, as Mr. Silbert mentioned, for lot coverage that was granted in the amount of 74.7%. And I noticed, Dave, on your current site plan set actually shows, I think, 70.3%, which is a reduction in the coverage. Is that correct? It's about 2,000 square feet, according to my calculations. Was the site slightly less built out than the prior approval? You know?
I believe we did reduce some of the square footage. I'm not sure exactly what.
Okay.
I think during post-approval compliance with working with Ms. Doyle at the time to increase landscaping, we were able to reduce some of the coverage. So that would explain the discrepancy.
And point being, for tonight's purposes, the 70.3 is what's being represented as the current coverage on the property.
That's
and
correct.
what would be proposed, essentially, because this building is
It's
being
on it.
situated on an existing impervious surface.
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. That's all I had.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question to follow up on Mr. Burr? Are you going to be storing any oils, fuels, paints, chemicals, batteries within the storage
I
shed?
think we have that already in the existing building, correct? Yeah.
Okay, so none of those materials would be stored, because you're saying it's a gravel floor here, none of those materials would be stored in the shed?
No, they would not be.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Burr, gravel typically is considered impervious in this instance. For the floor of a shed like this, gravel strikes me as not unusual, but I don't know if that's what I would do. I'm just curious if you have an opinion, or if Mr. Stiers has an opinion as to why we're having a gravel floor as opposed to one that's, I don't know, paved, not paved,
Well,
cement or something.
I suspect it comes down to cost. It's a gravel surface now that the shed is being proposed on.
Yes.
I think, Board Member Vescio just raised a great question, and I suspect Sarmad was going to ask the same. Storage of liquids, oils, gasoline-type products should not be allowed in this shed if, in fact, it's going to be a gravel surface, and
Okay.
there's already accommodations in the main building for that. So that may be a potential condition of this approval, just to make sure that nothing that could leach into the ground would be stored in this facility.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Armad, speaking of which, sorry if we stole your questions.
That's all right. Most of my questions were stolen, but as long as they were asked and answered, that's all I care about. I really don't have any questions for Mr. Stiers. I just want to confirm, they've agreed to comply with the comments in the joint memo between myself and Mr. Burr. And so just a confirmation that they will update the plans to show the correct FAR, what the value is of the FAR in square footage, and update to show the variance relief being sought tonight.
Yes, we will.
As far as accessory structures. Thank you, Mr. Stiers. That's all I have for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for Mr. Stiers from our board members? We're going to open the meeting up to the public and see if there are any questions specific to Mr. Stiers' testimony this evening. And seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Mr. Silbert, where are we?
Chairman Kulak, I'm going to conclude my application with Mr. Stiers being our only witness this evening. Again, this is just putting the final touches on a project that took shape in this manner because of Mr. Morello, but also because of all of the refinements that this zoning board put us through a number of years back, where I believe we had to come back multiple times with different iterations. And that's why, in part, why you have the product that we showed you this evening. So with that, I would ask that the application be approved, that this is a very important and an essential component to the commercial operation, the auto body repair operation on the property. We believe it's being done in a tasteful manner. Yes, it's bigger than what's required, but still measured. The property can accommodate it. As you heard Mr. Stiers testify to, he doesn't believe there's any detrimental impacts to the public. And just by virtue of the prior approvals, we believe that this fits squarely within those approvals, even though, yes, it is amended, it is slightly different. So I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Mr. Oler, from the board's perspective, if they were to entertain a motion to approve the application, how would it look and what are our conditions, if any?
Well, it is a D4 variance, so it does need 5 affirmative votes. It's for preliminary and final site plan to amend the prior approval from this board. Conditions would be to correct the zone chart to show the proper FAR 0.21. The shed materials and color would match the existing building. It'll satisfy all the conditions from the township reports, professionals' reports, comply with all conditions from the prior approval, and that's all I had.
And it doesn't impact our prior approval, correct?
Correct.
Very well. So with that, would the board like to deliberate? What we're really trying to do here is to approve the application as it has been presented, and we have some rationale on which to base our decision, but why don't, Mr. Whiteley, would you like to start, please?
Sure, since I was here in 2022 for the initial one, which was Mr. Michael's first case. I pass it all the time. I watched the construction, which went on for quite a while. I think you did a great job making it fit into the whole neighborhood, which we saw in the video, and it is nice and clean inside. It didn't go inside. And I have absolutely no problem with you putting a shed instead of the other part, so I'm in favor of it.
Mr. Gajewski?
Yeah, I definitely think outdoor storage in that shed is much safer than being on a mezzanine. no doubt. And the fact that it's not going on a slab, and it's going to be a regular floor speaks to the nature of the storage, the use that they're asking for. I see no reasons not to approve it.
Ms. Wiseman?
I would commend you on an excellent application. I approve it and wish the applicant luck in the business.
Mr. McNella?
I drove by the site the other day after having looked at, Google Maps, and the video that's there shows the old building, the old house, and then you turn the corner onto Milltown and it shows the construction, so there's actually two different pictures, and it was like really hard for me to get my head around what was there until I drove by, but I do commend what's there, and I, building this to make it sort of fit that little community that's there, it's very impressive what they did do.
Mrs. Amin, would you have any comments?
Yes, I just want to add in here that whatever was approved before, the shed and all that will not be built. It's based upon what you are showing now. That's what we will be approving.
Mr. Fresco?
Yeah, I too was here. I remember those meetings. It's kind of funny to think how quick it goes. Yeah, I'm worried about the parking, even in your video, which was cool. And the building is cool. I see it myself. You guys did a great job, and I remember my thoughts then and blah, blah, blah. But I am worried about the parking. You could see in the video that, what do we lose? You're probably going to lose 5, 6 cars, maybe 4 cars, 5 cars. So I'm worried about that. But overall, I think it's fine. You got some vegetation there. It's behind the fence. So I support it. And wish you good luck with it.
Mr. Vesio?
I was hoping, and it didn't sound like we did, but I was hoping we could have added the condition of approval that, you couldn't store such chemicals, oils, fuels.
Oh, that is, yes, if I didn't say that, that is a condition.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So I'm fully in approval of this application. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Colucci?
I think that's the cleanest body shop I've ever seen in my life. And I agree with everything. Everything is good.
I appreciate that. From my perspective, we have a multi-generational business that's really established themselves in Bridgewater Township, is very successful. The owner applicant has come forth to this board to expand the business and has built out an exemplary structure and business, so I could do nothing but support the request as it's been made. With that, we will entertain a motion to approve the application with the conditions as they were outlined. Who would like to make that motion? Mr. Wiley is making the motion, Mrs. Amin is second, and Ms. Probst, can we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Kulak,
Yes.
Mr. Wadley,
Yes.
Mrs. Amin,
Yes,
Mr. Fresco,
Yes.
Mr. Gajewski,
Yes.
Ms. Wiseman,
Yes.
Mr. Vesio.
Yes.
Very well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Silbert, appreciate it.
Pre-approval by 9:40.
And we have a few housekeeping items for the board, but we will get out of here quickly. Ms. Probst, what's next up for us in the, I think our next meeting is September 8th?
September 8th is a residential application, 136 Pine Street, and a continuation of Liquid Church.
The continuation of Liquid Church, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then moving forward from that, the next meeting isn't until the 22nd, and we have, it looks like, a couple of things on the agenda for that. Specifically, we have the Bridgewater Self-Storage LLC for the 22nd, and then also Route 22 land investors, which we'll be able to update us as to whether that will actually appear or not.
Yes.
Okay, very well. May I have a motion to adjourn? I move. Second? Somebody second it? We heard two. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.